Here again with another Breaking Bad Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case and you find out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for those of you that are wondering, I've watched this show many times. This show is awesome, and I wanted to talk about it again. So join me in the comment section, and you might even be joined by a Crazy Coffee Man to discuss this amazing show. And with that in mind, this will be Breaking Bad Season 3, Episode 2. The title of this episode is called Caballo, Sin Nombre. And this will be my review reaction recap after finishing watching the episode last evening. And I must admit, before I talk about the episode, I was extremely tired while I was watching this episode, to a point where I was dozing off because I was extremely tired, not because of the episode's fault. So I may, I may have missed something due to my, I need to go to sleep and I need to go to sleep now. On my days off, I usually stay up to about 6 o'clock in the morning just to get stuff done, and I was passed out, so I went to bed before 3. So just so you know, starting things off though, Walt is taking a drive in the desert. God, my throat all of a sudden hurts, and he's pulled over by a cop, and the cop tells Walt to turn his music off after he turned it down, and he pulled Walt over because his cracked windshield, and Walt is like, this cracked windshield is damaged due to the plane crash. So he's going to write Walt a citation, a ticket, and Walt gets out of the vehicle, and Walt's pissed. He starts yelling at the officer, and then the officer warns Walt that he'll pepper spray him, and Walt mentions he's expressing himself under the First Amendment, and Walt is pepper sprayed and put into the back of a cop car. Hank talks to the DEA about the truck that was on fire, caused by Marco and Liano Salamanca. Steve Gomez says it's been 29 days since they've seen the blue meth last, and Jesse has a 45-day chip hanging from his mirror. So Jesse goes to his old place, his aunt's place. Come to find out, his parents are actually selling the place. He talks to his dad. It's a good conversation. His dad says he's looking healthy. Hopefully his dad knows that he's been clean, and it's possible that maybe he'll come over for dinner sometime. His mom would like that he's looking healthy. Hank goes to get Walt out of jail because he got a phone call about it. Walt apologizes to the officer, says it was disrespectful. Walt tells Hank Skyler's divorcing him and she doesn't want him to see the kids. At the laundromat, Walt sees Saul Goodman. You don't write, you don't call. And then Walt ends up talking to Saul at his place. Saul has a nice tie on, one that I really want. It's a nice goldish tie, and I really like it. I have something similar to it, but it's like a flimsy tie. Saul tells Walt Skyler's bluffing, and Saul wants Walt to get cooking. Saul calls Mike Ehrmantraut, and says we may have a wife problem, and Mike's at the playground with his granddaughter, Haley Ehrmantraut, or Ehrmantraut. I keep saying Ehrmantraut, it's Ehrmantraut. Skyler tells Junior dinner's going to be late, and he ignores her as Hank and Marie are coming over and they're bringing dinner. Skyler says Flynn's looking for a part-time job to Hank and Marie, who of course brought the dinner over, and Junior says, "My name is Walter Jr. You may not love him anymore, but I do. Why do you gotta be such a bitch?" He's pissed. One of my favorite Walter Jr. moments, and there's not many. Hank tells Marie that he's seen this stuff before when they're outside. It's obvious to him that Walt cheated on Skyler. He's not right, unfortunately. Jesse goes to Saul's office, and the return of the prodigal son. He's there to get his money. Saul complains about Walt walking out. It's like Michelangelo won't paint anymore. Jesse asks Saul, "Want a job?" And then Walt comes home and Junior is at his apartment. The Salamanca cousins go to see Hector or Tito. Rest in peace to that actor who recently died. I don't think I've recorded a review since that. They get an Ouija board out, And they go to each letter, and then he rings his bell if that's the letter that he wants them to write down. And the message he gives them by dinging his bell on the letters of the Ouija board is Walter White. Skylar tells Ted Beneke she can't sign off on these reports. Skylar asks Ted Beneke, "What if your kids found out?" Walt calls Skylar and tells her about him showing up. Walter Jr. And then Junior asks Walt, "Why are you doing this? Why are you helping her?" "Your mother, she has her reasons." What reasons?" "There are two sides to every story. Everyone knows you haven't done anything wrong." I don't know why I'm mimicking Walter Jr. I just find him sometimes, when he actually has good moments in the show, it's good, because there's been times where he said, why won't you die to Walt? Like, just, I don't know, I hate that character. But Saul meets with Jesse's parents. Saul tells them he has a client that has money burning a hole in his pocket that wants to buy their, Jesse's aunt's house, or her sister's house. And Saul says his guy will pay $400,000 for the house, and they want like $750,000. He mentions the meth lab that was used in the that used to be in the basement, and their statements don't mention anything about a meth lab. And Saul says, it's fraud. And basically he's like, "I know all this stuff about this house. You guys are going to sell me it for a really low price." And Walt brings Junior home and also brings pizza. Skylar tells Walt, "We've discussed everything that we need to discuss. I thought I made myself clear." So she won't really let him in. And Walt is pissed. And he throws the pepperoni pizza on the roof of the house. At his new place, Walt is all of a sudden laying on the floor with popcorn all over. So that was kind of weird that he was mad, and then we wake up to him like with popcorn all over the floor. Did he get drunk? I don't know what happened. There's like there's moments missing from this episode, unless I just fell asleep. But I don't recall falling asleep. It was towards the end of the episode that I was dozing off, just because I was extremely tired. And then Walt wakes up to Skylar calling and leaving a message about being mad about the pizza and a restraining order, possibly. Jesse comes to the house that he's purchased, his aunt's old house, and his mom says the house has been sold and the new owners are expected at any moment. "Where are you going?" And Jesse says, "Inside." He shows them the keys and says, "I bought the place." And that doesn't make his mom very happy. Mike waits for Skylar and Junior to leave the White residence, and the pizza, of course, is still on the roof. He's setting up some audio surveillance. Walt shows up and realizes that Skylar has actually changed the locks. So Walt eventually crawls underneath the house through a vent and goes through a bunch of spider webs to get into the house. When he set up the water heater, he did all that stuff. So he crawls in through that way. In season 2 that he did. And Mike was able to hide his stuff and not let Walt see him. And Walt's actually planning on moving back in. We don't know that for sure yet, but he had all of his stuff, or some of his stuff. The Salamanca cousins arrive with an axe. And Mike is seeing this stuff and knows shit's about to go down. So Mike calls Victor, who relays the message to Gus Fring quickly about the Salamanca cousins being at Walt's house with an axe. And Walt's in the shower mumbling song lyrics, and the Salamanca cousins they're twins, but they're cousins of Tuco. They sit on the bed and just wait for him. One of them picks up, I don't know which one's which, either Marco or Liano. One of them picks up the eyeball that Walt has and kind of looks at it and then just sets it down. And then they get a text that says Porlos. And then they leave. Walt gets out of the shower, and Walt sees the eye that he has of the stuffed animals been moved. And Walt looks around to see if anybody's home to end the episode. So pretty good episode. Again, I was really sleep deprived, so I had to turn in for the night about 3 hours early. So there may have been something that I missed, but still a good episode. I'm going to rate this episode an 8.5 out of 10. And my characters of the episode, I'm going to go with Walter Jr. Surprisingly enough, it's one of his better episodes. And then Skylar for my female. So you've heard everything I have to say. If there's something that I missed that really makes a difference to what I just talked about, if you could leave a comment. Granted, I've seen this episode I don't know how many times I've seen this show. 7 at least. It's either 7 to 10 times. I don't know what it is. I watch it like every year. But you've heard what I had to say. Now, of course, it's your turn. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, or like all Vince Gilligan's projects and want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button. YouTube tells me that I don't get enough likes on the video. I average like 4 to 8 or 9 likes, and somewhere around 6 is usually what I get, and they want me to have double or triple that. So the more likes, the better. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what you think about this episode. Tell me what you did like, what you didn't like, any other things that you want to say. Let me know your rating of the episode, who your favorite male or female character is, or the standout character, I should say, or just one if you just want to choose one. And then last but certainly not least, I will put my series finale review of Better Call Saul right here. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button in addition to Hulk smashing the like button. Join the team. You're watching the video anyway. Show your damn support and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.